It ended. It ended.
No, it just says Brian is recording the call.
Yeah, is it recording?
It says it on mine. Brian is recording the call.
Now. So, welcome to my basement.
You just cut out on mine. Is that cutting out on yours?
Every once in a while, and like literally when it does, you're like one eye closed. Yeah, it's all good. Marnie, we're gonna get this. So obviously, we're not in my office.
Obvi.
Where are you?
I'm in Natalie's bedroom.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what's above you.
All the pigs.
Oh, very cool. Is this like the only private place that you have right now?
I said, don't come in here, girl.
It's all good. All right, so let's be diligent.
The family room her office.
Yeah, let's be diligent with our time today of being together, checking in on one another, and sharing that podcasts can still happen even if we can't be in the same room with one another. So you're the host of the show. Welcome back to Maxim and Marnie.
Yeah, welcome back to Maxim and Marnie. I'm really excited, you guys. We have several people that have agreed to come on and share their stories. But I really think to serve them the best way, we need to do it the normal way. But I guess that I think it's a vulnerable choice, but I think them sharing their story will be a real gift to. Did I just cut out?
It's so weird. Like you were mid-sentence and then you're all of a sudden like, oh, did I cut out? So it probably did halfway through your sentence. It'd be a gift to have them right there with you rather than across town lines.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably being smart by let's just pay attention to the rules, even if it would be just three of us in the same place. One of us could be carrying something and then take that back to our families. So my family is literally trying to self-quarantine as best as possible, which is why worship is happening from my basement or from my piano room. When I'm recording stuff, that's where I'm doing it from home. I'm not going into church like some others. So
yes, same. Me and the three girls have not left our house. And I think that's really hard. And I've seen a lot of memes about how introverts can own this time. But for me, as an extrovert, this is really hard. I don't, when I'm not in contact, I have managed to create situations with my kids and over FaceTime that has made me feel connected. But that is generally how I get filled up, is interacting with people. But I've also heard a warning who might get filled up on being alone to just be careful that they don't do it. I just think we need to remember that people that are in community and in relationship in general are just healthier. They live longer. They do better. So we all need to make the effort to connect with one another, to check in on one another. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that we have FaceTime and computers and internet and the kind of programming that we watched happened when I was a kid at home. I had no cable. I had 3 or 4 channels on the TV, and I had a home phone.
I agree with you. I think it's a privilege to be in the time that we're in, and I pray that it's use this tool for blessings. The thing that's probably hardest for me is that church is intentionally supposed to be community. And so I'm thrilled when we are finding ways to connect, but I also hurt because, I want to talk about this in a minute, but we're less than 7 days into this. And it feels like it's been such a long time since we've been together. And, that tells you what I hope is that for many people, being together, going to church is important. And so we yearn for and pray for the time when we can be back together. And I think it's going to be an awesome celebration when we are able to worship together again. And the same as with communion. Communion so often, I think, just becomes that ritual that we do every single weekend, and it loses its meaning. And so right now, I think people are like, I wish I had communion. And I look forward to sharing that gift with people again.
I agree. I agree. I think it is hard. I think that it's hard, like you just said, it's not even 7 days and we're feeling the struggle of it. And I think that's part of what's hard is the uncertainty of how long. I think I can go, okay, I can do this for 2 weeks. I'm fine. I can do this for 2 weeks. Longer than 2 weeks, that is uncertain and scary and makes me nervous. And I don't think I am great about, moms posting on Instagram and Facebook their schedules and what they're creating and these fun ideas and their programming and their homework. And I am not that person.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to get to that in a second. Can we?
And so I don't want to feel less than, and I don't want to feel judging myself.
So can we talk about the 7 days first and then get into this?
Is that you or me? Go.
Well, so when you move, by the way, I think you're probably messing somehow with your internet.
Well, I'm moving because it says poor connection, so I'm trying a new room.
I would definitely say you didn't have like the greatest of connections, but that's okay. All right. So where were you 7 days ago in the afternoon of Thursday? Do you remember, like, in your head, what did you think this was or what was going to happen 7 days ago? Because I'm playing with an idea in my head that I think we should just talk about with our audience here.
I think Thursday for me last week was when I was realizing that it was serious and that we needed to take action, but I didn't know exactly how much to cut off because people weren't totally doing that. So I was feeling a mix of guilt for participating in the community and a mixture of frustration that we still were because I felt like we shouldn't.
Yeah. So for me on Wednesday night, when I came home from our Lenten services, the president had spoken, and I knew based off of some of the words that I was hearing that people were going to react out of fear. And I quickly realized we didn't have stable foods within our home. And so it was like 10 o'clock at night. I went to Meijer and I shopped for our family just to make sure we were okay. And then on Thursday, I took Wesley to school. I was at church. Did we record? I don't think you and I recorded. But all I know that happened, by the way, your screen is frozen again, but I'm just going to keep on talking. Oh, okay. So on Thursday, though, Wesley goes to school. We come home. And by Thursday afternoon, I contacted our exec team. So Pastor Emily, Gene Jepson, Pastor John, and myself. And I said, I know Friday is our day off, but I really think that our team needs to talk through a plan. I have this feeling we're not having worship. And so we talked on Friday. And then there was this emergency council meeting that then happened on Saturday morning. And like everything changed. We had hours to shoot that video for last week's worship. And for me, it's like the last 7 days, it went from like nobody believing that this could happen to now we're like, how many weeks? You say 2 to 3 weeks, it could drive you crazy. Marnie, this could be to June or July, until we're really able to be back out in community again. I think that's hard to sink in.
That's daunting.
But there are things that our families can do.
Please tell me about that.
Well, there was one day where it was really nice outside, and Mandy and Wesley went on a walk for a while. And there was that same day I put on my rucksack, which has like 35 pounds on it. And I went for a 3.5 mile ruck. And I mean, like, I think the longer this goes on, the more beneficial it will be for us to get outside and still not be in physical contact with people, but like to breathe fresh air. But something you shared earlier, we had actually happen in our family where I think one of our first days talking it was probably like day 2 or 3. You said something like it was still afternoon, and you were still in your PJs and feeling guilty, or something like you said, I haven't even showered yet today. And we had the
Nope.
same situation in our house, Marnie. And I think, like, when are we going to start saying that's okay? If this goes on for that many weeks, it's okay to have a day where you just build a tent and watch movies and don't apologize. Just, give yourself that little break too.
Yeah, I think that that's super important for people to receive that grace and get that grace, right? Because it's not a sprint. It doesn't feel like, it feels like this will be a marathon.
Well, I'm nervous.
Right?
I'm nervous for teachers and for like the church, who every day they're throwing out new things that you can be doing. And my only comment in my heart is to say, don't give out all your good ideas on day 4. Like, like you're really going to regret possibly not holding on to that idea and building it up a little bit more, in case we need it. Like, we as a church right now, we're figuring out, what does worship look like for this weekend, but what does it look like 4 weekends from now? What does it look like if we have to have Easter online? What does it look like if we wait to have Easter until after?
My friend had States, and the worship team, but then the worship team's still together. But they were, so I feel like that was even okay last week, and now it's not. But they were on top of the roof, and then people drove in so that you were in the parking lot together, and it felt more connected. But you did speak to one another and you waved to one another. So I feel like there's just that a little bit more of like seeing people and interacting on a more personal basis. But again, the worship team.
I'm not trying to be a pessimist here, but I have a feeling that the rules are going to get harder and harder for us even to come near one another. And so that's a good first week. But for us as a community at Our Saviors, I was actually really happy that we didn't live feed. So, like, notice here on this conversation how the phones break up. If you're live feeding on Facebook and the internet goes down, which it always does at our church, because the building, Our Savior's building, is a big brick building. Like, it's hard to get reception in there. So if that goes down, then that's all of your worship goes down. Compared to right now, what they did this week is they recorded a whole bunch of songs and hymns, so they're ready to go for that. Now, eventually, I'm hoping that we offer a traditional style and a contemporary style. And so I want to share with you a cool story if you want to hear it.
I love that.
So our friend Tyler Henderson, who's been on the podcast and shared his story. I'm working on figuring out how to tell this, whether having him on to chat with me like this. But Tyler has been battling quite a lung infection for, I think he's on week 4 now. And long story short, for the next year, he was pretty much going to have to be isolated a lot because of the length of time he has to receive medicine and how easy it would be for him to get sick. And so for someone like Tyler, this is nothing new, to avoid going out when things get bad. And what happened was Chris asked Tyler to play some songs on piano, which he did. And then last night sent them to me. And I recorded the audio through a microphone that I have, better than this microphone, and then sent it back to Chris. And we recorded ourselves doing it. And then next he's sending it to the drummer.
Awesome.
And so hopefully you can see all of us playing at separate times and yet playing together. And that's what we're hoping to eventually lead contemporary worship through, for instance. So yeah, we're working on it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Okay, now
come to the table.
Yes and no. So the only reason why I maybe wouldn't do come to the table is we're not coming to any tables. As of right now, we're waiting for communion as a community. And but one humorous song I thought of was, "As for me and my house, we will serve you," because we're all in our houses. So yeah, we're working on stuff. How cool would this be though if church was like your family reading the prayers instead of a pastor? Somebody else's family reading the scripture And all of that can be pieced together so our community can still compose worship together.
I love that.
So
what a beautiful way to share in that.
We're working on those ideas, but again, it's all been less than 7 days. And so I think it's just a lot of editing also on for Chris Brown. We need to be very grace-filled when it comes to the amount of time it's going to take him, because we're all sending him videos, and so he's just layering it in.
Right.
And the request is, people are saying just have it under 20 minutes. Well, when someone, like if someone preaches too long or a hymn goes too long, right now we haven't figured out how to make that happen. But last week's was 18 minutes. This week's I think will be tricky.
I would say pause and come back. Like that's is if that is too long for you to absorb the fact that it's recorded. Right. And I appreciate that we watched it at 4:30, and as soon as Natalie ran over, she wanted to see you guys singing. Everybody from young to old in my house was engaged in watching you, and it felt so safe and good day afternoon.
Well, like I shared, they recorded a whole bunch. This time I'm missing from them because I'm choosing not to. I love them. I'm happy that they could serve in that way. But I think my family has taken this pretty serious. And so we want to avoid having to hit the reset button over here when it comes to timelines. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing, right? Giving everybody this grace and space to figure it out.
And I'll say the team has been very awesome. Like, nobody has said, Brian, you really need to come in. A matter of fact, they've said, yes, we want to respect that. So I mean, like, I'm not throwing them under the bus and saying they made the wrong decision, but I just knew, like, Mandy and I talked a lot about it because it's hard to be gone. I want to be present, but I can be present in other ways is what we've decided.
Yeah. Well, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So hopefully this works, and maybe we can introduce some, if somebody's open to doing a virtual pod with us and try this venue. I don't think it's right for a few of the people we have lined up. Well, but all the college kids that are home.
But Marnie, what if we added in some? What if we've added in, like, you and I intentionally call someone that we've recorded before? So we've recorded 30 some people, and maybe this is a time, like, what if what we're supposed to do is to check in on our church? And so you have this podcast, this community that now cares about all these different people. And maybe this is your chance to intentionally call them. We'll add them to the call so they can see their face too. These are now available.
I love that.
YouTube, I'll add them up, and so that way people can see us, and then in our finest. I'm in my basement, you're in another room, but like I'm not dressing up for our podcast. I'll dress up for church.
Same.
But
I did shower.
Congratulations. I've not showered today.
Yeah, I did.
Are you proud of any projects that you've done?
I did.
Like, any
in Ellie in the family room? Nope.
Don't waste it.
I'm really proud that I've worked, because that is good for my mental illness. That is something that is important for me to maintain. And I do that in community at a gym. And so I was super nervous about not doing it because that's hard for me. But it helps. My kids will do it with me, so that's really nice, because then I still feel like I'm doing it with someone, so it encourages me to do it. We yesterday decorated for Easter and took out our St. Patrick's Day decor, and so then we took all the Easter eggs and we put them on the second floor, and we put the Easter basket on the first floor, and we had to run up and down and bring the eggs back to the basket. So that was a really fun cardio workout for us girls.
So we played with the idea, and I was happy I sent this to Mandy because I said the idea first, and now other people are copying it. But the idea is this: what if every week you celebrate a season or a holiday? Because I'm in our basement, and I've been reorganizing the basement for Mandy. So like one week it could be 4th of July, and we celebrate our anniversary. One week it's going to be Halloween, and we decorate the house for Halloween. One week is Christmas, and so we just bring up everything for Christmas. I don't think we're going to go up to that extreme, but what I saw online is that people are putting Christmas lights around their house just to give a symbol of hope and light, in the middle of this time.
Yes, I have seen that. I feel like we've poor connected again. I don't want to be annoying to people.
It's all good. This was a good start, and let's just continue to be committed to touching base with our community.
Yeah. You know who I think would be fun is Randy Schneider. I feel like he had a lot more to say, and
Yeah.
he had some marriage tidbits, and he had some really interesting. I don't know if we got all into it on the church that he was interesting, and he always has funny memes that he posts on his Facebook that constantly crack me up. He said the other one he posted the other night said, in 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to see everybody's true hair color.
Yeah, I'm all for it. But as long as somebody has Skype, then yes. So I don't know if you just want to send a mass email out to every single person that's been on our podcast, but yeah. Or if you're listening to this or watching this, you email us at MaximandMarnie@gmail.com. That's a good way to get a hold of us.
That would be awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
Pastor Brian.
Thanks, Marnie. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Stay well.
All right, bye.